Hi guys, thank you very much for coming back to my studio, and to those new, thank you for stopping by, and to those regular, thank you for your support. Thank you very much for coming back. And in this video I'd like to share with you how to draw multiple high volume building blocks in perspective without a vanishing point. In this one I'm going to draw 6 building blocks, and starting with a mass and divide them into 6, and how I draw them in a small piece of paper, and that is impossible to put the vanishing point or the horizontal line to mark where the vanishing points are, but simply using the geometry lines I show you how to do it, and the simple trick and the simple way to draw to achieve this drawing of multiple buildings in one single blocks into perspective without the vanishing point. And I hope you watch this video to the end, and thank you very much. Hi guys, thank you for coming back again to my studio. In this video I'd like to share with you how to draw multiple buildings, high volume multiple buildings in perspective without a single vanishing point. Started with one massing. I draw the vertical, diagonal to create this one cubic shapes. Start with one mass. Indicating all the necessary lines, because the vanishing point will be within itself, indicating all the hidden lines that will not be visible, but it is important to indicate them as the reference guidelines for the perspective without the vanishing points. Now again, starting with the from this side face, start with the cross lines to find the central point. The central point is going to be the beginning. I'm going to divide it into 5 sections, so we'll find 5 space. Again, doing the V shapes, upward and downward. This is how I divide into 5 equal number in perspective. Now, when that cross comes, I identify the center point like this. Equal to 1 on the other side too. Then another diagonal line connecting from the center into the another center place. And of course identical to the other side there too. Right, now where the first diagonal line come across to this last one that I'm dotting right now, second dot there, and of course it's identical to the other side there, and these two, dot there, dot there. That are the dots are the indication of these 5 faces. This one face there. The reason being is because I'm going to divide them into 5 faces, and ideally to create this kind of equal in proportion in terms of perspective view. So now I have 5 faces there, and of course I'm going to add to create the same identical tricks on that rear facade, the rear side of that. This is totally optional, but for this exercise it's about getting used to with the techniques, so it is in term to be much more methodical. Again, find the central line there, center point. Now, want to find a center point, project it again, the another line from above toward that, from the center of that center face and the corner. Again, the reason why I do this is without projecting it. Just I have to create, indicate where exactly they are, because there is no vanishing point. So this is the best way I could do the best techniques without the vanishing point. So the line from the front side here will be connected to the one on the rear. So that's how it works. Now again, I created 5 faces there. So basically it's identical to the front. And of course on this side, I will be dividing them into 3 faces. So this. And I already find the central line there, naturally. It's projected. Doing another vertical lines. This is quite simple. The 3 faces is very simple. Where dot cross each other, that will be the first one, and of course the second one, and the third. So one side is 5, on the left side here is the 3 faces. And of course again repeat the same at the rear side there. It's identical. Right, now that I found each one, so that I just draw this line connecting to the other on the opposite side, just like this. This is the way I do it, because of, as I said before, there is no vanishing point. So the vanishing point is replace it with this geometry line. So you can't go wrong really with these geometry lines in the absence of vanishing points. And of course the vanishing point is not compatible with such a big drawing on a small piece of paper. Right, the rear connected with the front, like this. Now I have 15 blocks there. Of course, there will be the idea is to create this solid and cavity. Not all of this square will be filled. Some will be empty and some will be empty blocks of buildings. I'm doing this vertical line to accentuate the volumes of each building, basically. Now the next move is to draw this center line to make it easy. To emphasize, to bring each of these blocks building much more clear out of these layers of drawings, layers of lines. And at the same time, and also these lines to indicate the floorings, how many floor of each building. So I like to start with the very simple fine line, the center point, using the observation to find where the center is, and of course repeat the same techniques on the other side too. Like this, and divide into half, and divide them to half again. And of course I'm going to mark the center point, the bottom, the top, before I get lost in this multi-layers of lines. Now the inward, the inside of this face of each block. On this one, and I'm doing the line basically to make it align with the visible line below and above. That how I make it in proportion, just like this. Always using the line above as the reference. And of course on this side too. Starting with the center point, center line, center of each block, and again divide them to half, just like this. Repeat the same process. So now each of these building blocks beginning to look more visible out of these multi-layers of geometry lines. So now there are 6 building blocks. And of course, again, I'm going to divide each of these facade of each building block into 3. The same technique, repeat, find the first center point. Assuming there are 3 room on each floor, so that requires 3 opening of each habitable space, typical of the residential apartment in the city, usually 2 bedrooms, 1 dining and living. So of course identical to the last on the other side, on the far end, the same techniques to find the divide into 3. So this exercise is about repeating the same techniques, started with the high 1 massing, dividing into 5, then to divide the massing to make them much smaller from the big massing. Now divide that each building blocks into 3 phases. And of course, repeat the same thing on the side too. The point of this exercise is about how to draw multiple buildings without the vanishing point for a perspective drawing. Suppose for those people, those designers or architects usually like to come up with a sketchy idea to draw for any residential proposal before handing over to the 3D CAD specialist. This is the idea, to start with a sketch drawing first. Again, the same thing, I projected. This time I don't have to repeat the same process techniques at the back. I simply extend these drawing lines to the back by simply align my lines to the existing line, just like this. When it crosses that line, that will be the vertical line that I'm creating on each of the elevation of each building, like this. It's more like a modular, really. So the next step is to, instead of just one single line, I'm going to put another layer on each of these line to indicate the thickness or the depth of each flooring on each of these building blocks. Simply offsetting each of the line on the floor, suppose about 300 millimeter dipped. Starting with the front on this side first. And on the left side, done all that. Now I'm going to find the center line, the exact center of each of these face, because there will be the window opening on each one, just to make them look right in proportions. And I like to indicate that again, exactly by crossing the line, doing the diagonal line where they cross each other, there will be the center point, just like this. It will be the same to each one of them. And the same on the other side too, the same. It is a bit pedantic, but this is the best way doing it to make it look right in terms of perspective view, in proportions, in sketchy drawings. Now, what I'm gonna do is, on each of these, I'm not gonna make one single window on each one, because it's gonna look big and isn't look good. So I wanted the window opening to look tall and slim, so for that reason I'm going to do 2 windows opening on each face. But of course, to start with, one line first on each one before I indicate the depth of each of the building wall, the structure. Starting from bottom, top to bottom, stretching the lines, aligned with the first outline, corner line. In such a small detailed drawing like this, it is very important that you need to be very, very gentle with your pen. Indeed, do not press too hard. And of course, the bottom, then I'm going to find the center point, because at the bottom of this building, I'm going to be making it, instead of square opening, I'm going to make one large arch opening on each one. I'll start with the first diagonal line each one, then slightly curvy. The reason I did the diagonal line first is so my arch, the curvy arch would not be too low or too high above, so that diagonal line is a reference. So of course the same things, the same techniques again on the other side, on this side. Because there are 6 of these high volume building blocks, I'm going to add more detail on just one particular for now. And of course, the same techniques will apply to each one of them, because there are too many, otherwise this drawing will be too long. And for now, I'm going to just finish with one. And I believe the exercise of this drawing is only to indicate how to draw multiple building blocks, high volume multiple building blocks in one single piece of paper without the vanishing point for perspective drawings. Now I like to zoom in to look closer, because it's such a detail and small, quite hard to see. So now this drawing is to indicate the thickness of each wall through the opening of each window. As you can see, done the outline of the opening already, and now showing the line indication of the depth of each of these building wall through the window. And I do both sides, left and right. Right, now that I've done all of them, and the next move is of course to shed it, to indicate again this time the light is coming from the left side, and of course the shed will be from on the right. I'm going to start with make it darker line on the glass. Suppose the glass on the opening, starting with the dark side, the darker line first. Again, the shade under the arches underneath, on the lower part of this building, on the ground floor. On the side too. And of course on the right side too, the same things, repeat the same techniques. Again, I just like to repeat the same hatching and that rather than doing at once. And the same there too. Now that I hatch each one of these window openings, the next one, of course, to hatch this side of the wall, because this will be the opposite side of the light coming from. So of course, the indication of the shadow of the building itself on this facade. And this one I just use the vertical hatch for now. I'm not going to cross hatching it because such a small drawing, and I'm going to lose all the detail that I need to indicate here, such as the window, if it was too much hatch on it. And I'll give a bit of a line texture on the flat roof, but without making it too much. I don't want it to be too dark because I want to keep the contrast between the flat roof and the side wall. Here we are on this exercise. I'm gonna just finish with one of these blocks. I'm not going to do the rest for now, because the idea is to draw multiple high volume building blocks in perspective without a single vanishing point. And I hope it is worthwhile, this exercise. Thank you very much for watching, and do subscribe and share and like. Thank you. See you again next time.